In this video we add a background image to quickly add a sky to our scene. So this was a creative process and I tried many different images of skies, clouds, forests, caves and so on and so forth. But in the end I decided to go with a thunderstorm image, this one down here. And this I found on pixabay.com, and here, similar as for polyhaven.com, you can download these images for free and use them for any personal or commercial project without the need to credit anyone. So when you're picking a background image for the render, make sure that in the image you can see the horizon line here, so nothing where you look straight up into the clouds, which would look pretty weird because then all the clouds have the same size, and here you can really feel that the clouds are going into the distance. So let's click here, and then here you can download this in the highest possible resolution, and it might be that you have to create an account for Pixabay in order to download the highest resolution. Now here I'm back in my scene, and over here I have the rendered viewport shading enabled and here the material preview shading, so we can see the image texture later on. Then let's create a new collection inside the environment collection. Press C, let's call it background and make sure this is selected. Then let's press F4, go to preferences, add-ons and search for image, and then make sure the add-on import images as planes is enabled. Then let's go to file, import, and here you find images as planes. Then navigate to the folder where you saved the image, make sure this is selected, and here in the import options make sure the material type is set to emit. In this way no lights or shadows will influence the background, and then hit import images as planes. So, and now the cool thing is we have a plane with the correct aspect ratio of this specific image. So now all we need to do is to place it in the background. So now we could just place it, but let's make our life a bit easier by adding a constraint so that this image is always looking to the camera. So make sure the image is selected, go to the constraints and add a simple track 2 constraint. Then let's click this eyedropper and as target let's pick the camera. And now you can see the image is always pointing to the camera, which is of course super handy. And now let's place the image here in the background, scale it up, but let's also move it way in the background. So let's have a look from the top, press G, Z twice, and let's move it back, maybe even further. Because in the real world also the clouds are very far in the background, and when we add depth of field they will be a bit more blurry the further they are away, and I think that will look nice. Actually I know that this will look nice because I tested everything already. Now let's scale this up, move it up a bit. So and here important that we don't see the field down here, so I will move it down like this. And the cool thing here on this image we have this nice curved dark cloud, and I want this dark cloud to be behind the creature. So later on with the lighting and compositing effects, this creature will be highlighted even more because it's on a dark background, so that these big white spots are not too distracting. Let's scale this up even more and let's push this up to the side. So after a bit of tinkering, this is what I have here. You can see the white part is only here at the top. We have a little bit bright part down here, but the rest is like pretty dark in the background of the creature. However, here we have this line which make it feel as if the image is tilted a bit. So what we can do in order to rotate this image, because when I press R nothing is happening, we can go to edit mode. Then here let's disable proportional editing, it's still enabled. Let's press R, press Z twice, and then we can rotate this in edit mode. So now I just straighten this line. So let's rotate it. Maybe something like this. And back in object mode, let's move it a tiny bit to the side again. Something like this. Again, later on when we have the lighting setup and the compositing effects, we can of course move the background image around to see if it might fit better in a different spot. But yeah, this simple we can add a background and make the scene look much bigger, although it's just a simple ground with some rocks and an image here at the background. So now if I would enable scene world, you can see that the background image will stay bright because we enabled the emit option as we imported it. So the lighting is not affecting the background. But for now, let's leave this disabled. So that's it for the background, and now let's jump into the lighting process. But before we do this, as always, don't forget to save.